Welcome, everybody. Let's get started on the next session. My name's David, and it is my pleasure to introduce Loïc Knuchel, who will be speaking on reinventing database exploration with Azimutt.
Thanks a lot. So, hi everyone. Thanks a lot for coming to my talk. So, indeed, I will talk about Azimutt and how you can explore database with it. So my name is Loïc Knuchel, and I'm principal engineer at Doctolib. And basically, the whole talk is a story about how I started at Doctolib, and now I'm here talking to you about Azimutt. So 3 years ago, I started at Doctolib. So I joined the company. So if you don't know Doctolib, it's a French company in healthcare, allowing patients to book an appointment with doctors. And basically, it's built on a big monolith on Ruby on Rails, backed by a PostgreSQL database. And basically, it's a huge monorepo and also a huge database with 800 tables inside and several petabytes of data. So basically, as an architect, I joined Doctolib to work with the team and help with architecture, improve the code, and things like that. But also, for that, I have to understand what's inside the database, what are the models, and what are the relations. And the thing with Ruby on Rails is you don't define the properties inside the models. You just define the relations, but often the models are quite long. They can do like 1,000 lines long, and sometimes the relation is hidden as far as 100 lines or something like that. So that's not really convenient. And I had to look inside the database a lot to understand what are the things and how it works. So basically, that's me working at Doctolib on the first month. And obviously, this is not very friendly. I had to find a tool. So I looked for a lot of tools. They are mostly called ERD, Entity Relationship Diagrams, and they show tables with relations. As you can see, this is not very friendly. Here there is 10 tables. Imagine 800, and you will have some trouble. So I tried quite a bunch. So just for you to have a look at what they look like. And basically, the one was an AP fail. So for a few reasons. The first one, and the most obvious one, is all of the tools I could find will show everything. So when you show what 800 tables, you don't understand anything. The second one is most of them don't have an SQL or database import. And the last one is they are not private, so basically I had to upload the schema to the service, and I don't want that for Doctolib. So basically, when we are a developer and we are in this situation, we do another tool. And that's what I did. So with the big one goal to make it easy for large database, like 800 tables again, and messy also with tables with a lot of columns, like 100 or something like that sometimes. Local only, so this is not forced, but this is a possibility to stay local and just have it in your browser, not send any data to the service, and of course open source. So the first part was the schema exploration. When you load your schema into Azimutt, you don't see anything. You just see a search bar and an empty screen with some suggestion. And the goal is to look for tables with the search and just load the table you are interested in. Mostly if you are working with a big database, you don't want to see everything. You just want to see 10 tables around your use case, your feature, or something like that. And so you can do some nice diagram like this with choosing the table and the column you want to show. Sorry. Also, you can navigate from one table to another following the relation. So obviously the foreign key with the outgoing relation, but also the incoming relation coming to the primary key from the other relation, and that's pretty nice to expand your diagram and explore what's around. Of course, you want, as you don't see everything, you want many layouts, one per scope, discovery, team, or anything you want, but several layouts of your database to understand it. And the last thing is, sometimes in the database, you don't have foreign key for all the relation, sometimes for performance reasons, sometimes for reliability. There is a lot of ideas around there, but sometimes you don't have the relation as foreign key, and so Azimutt can infer and suggest them directly inside the diagram. And the last feature on the schema exploration is the find path. So if you want to join data from one table to another and you don't know really all the table in between, it will be a good one. And basically when developing this feature, I was very surprised about how many paths there is. So you will be surprised too. And basically that's also a good idea to have a look at that. The second thing is when people started using that, like on read-only on the database schema, they wanted to draft new feature on it, and basically doing some more design for the database. So I made a DSL with an explicit goal to be very simple. So here is a bigger version if you want to read. You just write the table name and the column name with 2 spaces before, and then you can add some attributes like the types and some primary key, unique, index, new label, and things like that. But the goal of this DSL is to be very simple, very quick to write, to go as fast as your ID can flow and your figure can type also. When you do this kind of exploration, sometimes you have some discovery, and sometimes you want to write them somewhere, maybe for your colleague, but also for your future self, doing again the exploration. So there is a lot of documentation. Of course, the SQL command found in the tab, so it's loaded and accessible into Azimutt, but also the note into the table also. So this is the same thing as the SQL command, but inside Azimutt, so you can edit and view it easily. There is some tag also to find tab easily. And of course, there is the same thing for the columns. So the SQL command, some notes you can add. The notes are in Markdown, so you can do the formatting with images if you want, links, list, and things like that. On the layout, so you have one layout for what you want, and you can document them with some memo inside. So same, it's Markdown, so you can put image, link, whatever you want to explain the whole schema, some part of the schema. You can have the color behind, and you can also have table groups to show that tables are in the same position or in the same context. That's how you can do the documentation for Azimutt. And the last part I did not long ago is the data exploration. And basically, before we were only on the structure, so on the database model, but sometimes you want to go a bit deeper, understand the data inside the database and how it's working, what you can do. And I think this is quite interesting. So when you open the detailed sidebar for the table, you have all the details, but also you have all the column with a sample of the data inside. So this is random picked data, not just a row with everything, but I avoid nulls and things like that to have interesting data to show here. The same for a column. When you open the sidebar for a column, you have the most used value, the count of rows, the cardinality, the number of null, and things like that to know a bit what is inside this specific row. So that's for the quick access, but you can also do some full query from it. We have a visual editor for very simple query, like a table with some filter, but also you can write any query you want so to have the result. And basically, you have all the results on the right in a list, so you can see different results and have some nice feature to filter, to sort, and things like that. But the most interesting one is this small arrow here. You can click on it and see the relative row on this part. So here I selected all the events, like so it's a CFP database. So you have the event, but they are linked to a group here, and you can see in one click that it's the human talks primary group, which is the linked row on this event. And this also works in a nested way. So if you scroll down and see other relation in this sidebar, you can have multiple sidebars that are stacking to navigate from one row to another. And basically, this was quite interesting, but the very nice thing here is you can add this specific row, so one row data from a table into the diagram. So you can add to the layout and see this row specifically. So this is not a table anymore. This is a row of data with, of course, the table name and the table columns, but also with the specific data for a specific row. You can refresh, requery again, but with all the data. And same as the layout, you can navigate through the data inside through the row inside the data. So if you click on the primary key again, you will have all the linked table, and for the table, all the linked row. So with a maximum of 20, because sometimes it can be very expensive. For example, event, or if you have some tracking things, you can have thousands of them. But basically, you can see easily what are the linked row, what are the incoming link to this specific row, and not just the table in the schema. And then, if you click, of course, on a specific one, you can show it. And the same is for foreign key. So if you click on a outgoing relation, you can just show the relation with it. This allows to do some nice diagram with not only the table and the schema, but also actual data from your database. That sometimes is interesting to show that you have several rows in the same table, like here. And of course, you can mix both, having on your layout, having your schema, so the table above, and the data below. So this is very small. This is not intended to read, but on the right, you can see there is several times the same different row on the same table on a clear blue. So I think that's a very interesting way to navigate into the data. So if you want to try it out, so it's available on Azimutt.app, but there is also a nice CLI to load any database, almost, here. So you can just do npx Azimutt explore and then your database URL. It can be, of course, a remote URL, but also a local one. You will start a gateway on your machine, which is just a node server, to proxy the query to your database. So it also works with local database, which is like I think one of the only tools that can do that. So thanks a lot. You can try it and see more on Azimutt.app. It currently works with several databases, so major relational database, but also some document database. And basically for relational database, when you have a JSON field, a JSON column, it inspects the JSON column, selecting 100 non-empty row, and infer the schema from it. So you see directly the schema of your JSON row, of your JSON column inside Azimutt. So this project is fully open source. I've been working on it for 2 years, a bit more than 2 years. And basically, I intend to develop it a lot more in 2024. So if you are interested with it, there is a survey with a QR code, and I will be happy to have your feedback on what you thought about what I presented, but also what are your current problems about the database, what you expect to see from a tool helping you interact with the database, and things like that. Thank you all. There is still 2 minutes, so maybe I can run 1 or 2 questions. Yeah.
Is there any performance issue when you explore a really big database?
Yeah, there is several things. So it's made for big database. So basically, Doctolib is 100 tables, and the biggest schema I think is 1,000 table, 1,000 and a half table. So there is no issue extracting the schema. There is more issue, and basically that thing I will address soon. When you explore the data, basically, if you have a lot of data inside your database, the quick show of the table of the value into the table and the column can be quite hard to improve. To get, but after that you just run some queries. So it will have performance issue if you do queries that take a lot of data, but the queries run on your database, so not linked to Azimutt.